So welcome back. It's Nicola Cairncross here. It's Friday morning, and I'm going to go for my what's hopefully going to become usual, what's worked, what hasn't, and what's changing. I got quite a lot of good feedback last week. There was a couple of people on the call, and a couple of people have reached out afterwards, so that's really cool. Do play along if you want to. So this is how you do it. You sit down quietly and you do a bit of journaling, ideally. Then you write down what's worked this week, what hasn't, and what's changing. And the best thing about it is the what's changing bit takes away the judgment, takes away the worry that you're not good enough. It's just a question. It's nice and cold and unemotional, and it's all practical about what you're going to do differently this week. So what's worked for me? Well, I've had my son and his girlfriend staying this week. It's a bit personal one to start with, and I've managed not to put my foot in it so far as I'm aware. They've gone away to Tropical Pressure Festival this weekend, along with my daughter and about 10 other people. So they were having a lovely time down there. And I've managed, I think, not to say anything that brought the mood down. That was his specific request. So I think I've managed to do that. On a personal level, generally, and also a work level, I feel better. I feel lighter since the election. I feel lighter. I feel less responsibility to try and save people or tell people things that they think they ought to know. I think it's the teacher in me. You know, I was once, when I did the Myers-Briggs, I was diagnosed. I was profiled as the teacher. And that is one of the things I love to do. I love to learn things and then teach them to other people. So when I learn things about what's going on in the world, I feel a compulsive need to teach them or tell people. And I've just let go of that now. There's nothing I can do. People have done what they've done. People are going to do what they do. People are never going to listen to people who think they know better because they think they know better. So I've sort of let go of that, and I feel much lighter and freer for it. So on the work front, I've heard from an old client. He's only 6 or 7 months old. He's not actually. He's in his 30s. But I haven't worked with him for a little while because he's been finishing his book, and it's on Bitcoin. And I'm really excited to be working on that with him soon. So he set up a call this week, and that will go into the what didn't work section. So let's have a look at what else has worked. I suddenly had the genius idea. I was getting my old Swagger and Soul channel going again, and I suddenly had the genius idea to see if I could use Google AdWords. And it came to me when I was offered the chance to boost the video. Don't fall for it, people. That's a bit like Facebook boost. It just goes out to whoever they think would be a good idea. But what I did do was go to my Google Ad account and resurrect that and get a conversion campaign going for views. And I was doing that to be able to specify, and it was quite easy to set up actually. I was able to specify which country it was shown in and what demographic of people it was shown in and what interests they had. And the best thing about that is that you can give AdWords information already. You can say, I want it to be like people who visit my website, or I want it to be people who are interested in these things on YouTube. So it's really pretty good. And I'm getting views for 10p. 10p, that's unbelievable. Normally you can't get a click or a view for under £1.50. So it's unbelievably cheap. So if you've got a YouTube channel or you're thinking about having one, for business particularly, that's a great way of boosting the videos that you want to give them a bit of a leg up. And what I found is that the algorithm gets all stirred up again about them, and they carry on showing afterwards. So that's pretty good, even if you just run a 3-day campaign or something like that. So that was something that definitely worked. Another work thing that worked was I've finally figured out how to do page optimization in Thrive Themes, which is where you take a page that is getting a decent amount of traffic, say a sales page or an opt-in page, or an offer page of some kind, and you optimize it in Thrive Themes to show 50% of the traffic that goes to that page to another page. You used to be able to do this with Google Analytics for free, and there was also an optimizer paid service at one point. But if you're running Thrive Themes, then you can actually do this for free. Just go into Thrive Optimizer and follow the instructions. In fact, I did have to look at a couple of videos on YouTube, ironically. But it wasn't as hard, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I did have to have a bit of a kip one night and then come back to it the next morning, because doing things in the late afternoon is not good for me. That's one of the things that doesn't work. What does work, though, is getting up early, although I have been awake since 4:45 this morning, because I heard from an old friend this week who's moving to a Spanish city. And funnily enough, one of my other really good friends is moving to the same Spanish city. That is really weird, isn't it? And they're doing it within a week of each other. So I felt compelled. Am I going to tell you about that something else? No, I'm going to do a whole live about this, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do it in a separate thing to this. I want to talk about this whole weirdness and energy and all that sort of stuff, and intuition. So watch out for the next live coming. And it's just incredible they're both going together. So what's working for me from that is, A, she got in touch, which is great. B, it gave me an opportunity to get in touch with my other friend, not that I ever need one. And C, I can feel a visit to this Spanish city coming on, which will be rather good fun, knowing I've got two mates out there as well. And what else worked? I can't think of anything else specifically. I was very thrilled. Oh, I'm working on ManyChat. I'm working on hooking up ManyChat with ChatGPT, which will mean that anyone who interacts with my page or comments on anything will get an opportunity to interact with me, tell me a bit more about themselves, and then I can direct them to one of my free gifts or my books or my training programs. Because what's happening is, I think email is sliding again. You know, I'm going to keep it going, but it's definitely sliding compared with Messenger. And I know that because of the way I interact with Messenger, and I'm one of the oldest people I know. So got to get ManyChat and ChatGPT going together. What didn't work this week? My last week's live was a bit shit, to be honest. The lighting was terrible. And the reason that happened was because I was trying to do it against a nice backdrop, i.e. the river. And even though it was a cloudy day, it was screwing up the camera on my phone, and it was focusing not on me but on the river, and it was also, the light was all wrong, and so it looked a bit fuzzy. It didn't come out as clear as it could have done. So I finally managed to, well, another thing that worked is I've worked out how to use this. Hopefully I am live at the moment, and hopefully people can see it, but if not, it's on Zoom, it's recording. I can always upload it later until I figure it out. The thing with Zoom is that when you go live on Zoom and you say, I want to use a custom streaming service, which is, sorry, then you go to your Facebook page and you start live video, and then it gives you some information. It gives you a URL and a streaming key, and you go back to Zoom and put that URL and streaming key in and click save, and it gives you an error message page. But I think that's an error message thank you page. I think it's a thank you page that's giving the error message, and I think it's actually working, even though it doesn't look like it is. But I did try to look on Facebook a minute ago, and perhaps I'm streaming, perhaps I'm not, but at least Zoom's recording, so I won't lose the whole thing. So these are little techie things are not working this week, but largely things are working. Let's have a look. Yeah, my author client came back. He wanted to talk, but it was only on a day when I wasn't available, sadly. I think he'd forgotten that I can't really do Thursdays because I do another 3-hour call with another client. So that's a fairly regular event and I can't miss that. So yeah, so that was a bit shame, but he's rescheduled for next week. So that's cool. You never know if clients are going to go away again and not come back. What's changing as a result of what didn't work? Well, I'm going to have another crack at figuring out this Zoom thing to Facebook Live. I'd like to know if it's working or not. I think this is a better way to do it for me, looking straight at a decent camera with good light from the ring light and the window as well, and the background fuzzed out, because one of the things that stresses me out is trying to find a good background, because my flat's quite small. I've chosen to, live simply, and I've just got a plain white wall there. It's very unattractive. I don't want people seeing all my furniture because people judge you on things. Can't use the river as a background because the lighting's all wrong. So it's better to use Zoom with the fuzzed out background. At least you can see my picture in the background, which adds a bit of colour. So Yeah. What else is changing? Well, I'm thinking about traveling some more to get some more sun because I don't know if you've noticed, but something weird's going on with the weather. But we won't get into that. I'm just going to go to other places where they're not doing things that to make the weather go weird. And the other thing is, I need to get more traffic to my sales pages in order to um, get the optimization going. Because statistically speaking, you need at least 100 visitors to each version, and you only need to have one difference on the second version of the page. So I've actually changed the layout. So I've started with a layout as suggested by somebody who I follow and like and respect. And then it went against the grain, so I thought, no, I'm going to split test with my own version. But in order to be able to tell which version's working properly, you need to have at least 100 visitors to each page. And at the current rate of visitors to my website, it's going to take a while. So I need to figure out how to speed that up. And it might well be that now I've dipped the toe in the water of Google AdWords again and figured out that they haven't changed it too much and I can figure out how to do it. Then I might just run some Google ads and see if I can get more traffic and see what converts better. But it'll be cold traffic. That's the only problem. So really, I'm sort of better to spend the money on sending traffic to my YouTube videos and then have a big prominent link to visit the website to find out more in the video or underneath the video in the description, or even better, pinned to the first comment. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what's worked. That's what didn't this week, and that's what I'm changing. So how about you? What worked for you? What didn't work for you, and what can you change as a result of that? I'd love to hear. So if you are on Facebook or on YouTube, or might put it up on LinkedIn if it's under 10 minutes. Doubt it though. I do ramble on. Then do tell me, and we can have some ideas, brainstorm some ideas for you if you'd like that. Anyway, I'll see you next Friday.